makes most women start a business? Is it passion, money, or freedom? Welcome to Female Founders, the podcast that takes you behind the scene with women who are founders and CEOs to help you start and scale a successful business of your own. I am your host, Nagelia de Ravin. Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Female Founders. In this episode, we are going to have a conversation with Jessica Richey, founder of Richey Workforce Development. Jessica is a career strategist helping people with personal brand and career guidance. She has helped many people with imposter syndromes so they can get the job they want in life. I can't wait to learn how Richey Workforce Development and the Richey Workforce Inspires Podcast are helping people. Hello Jessica, thank you for being here with us today. I am so appreciate you for taking the time, especially on a Sunday, to give me a few minutes of your time to have a better idea as a female founder, all the great work you are doing to support other women and other people in the world as well. To get started, my first question will be, what inspired you from your childhood days to become a career strategist?
That is a good question. Literally, I would have to say everything that has taken place in my childhood and leading up throughout my career. So, literally, I grew up the second oldest of four girls. My mom had four girls, and we literally would travel, and we were always in church, and we would travel doing presentations. And when I say presentations, well, I was the one I would always volunteer. We literally had to travel to these district functions every year. And they would always look for this volunteer, like, we need someone who can speak. But they already knew I wanted to do it. I just love speaking. And so that love just continued to grow because it was something about when standing up in front and just being able to share your message and being able to relate to someone else and just to provide hope, just to provide encouragement as well. And I think about while I was studying to get my undergrad degree, my uncle had came one day and took me out to eat lunch. And he asked me, he said, Jessica, what do you want to be like? What are you taking up in school? I said, well, I know that I'm studying communications because regardless of what industry I go into, you must communicate. And he looked back at me and then I said, because it's very broad. And so with that love, with that desire, as I graduated, I went and I gained a position at BB&T Bank. And I applied, I got the position. And while I worked there, I noticed immediately that I love networking. And, that love for networking when I was younger, if I knew someone that was doing something throughout my childhood, I always wanted to know, how can I connect them with this other person so that they can get the information they need to be able to grow within their career. And so I literally, within the 10 years working for the bank, I got promoted 3 times because I always knew that consistency is key. Like, keep showing up, keep getting the information and being able to share it with others. And so literally I was walking in the hallway. I'll never forget one day while I was working and someone came up to me who would later become my mentor. And they said, so how was your experience working here? And my reply was, it is amazing. You get benefits, paid time off. I went into all of the things, look, paid time off, right? Because, through school I was working, I took time off, but I wasn't paid for that time off. And I was I appreciated the opportunities. And so she said, well, I want you to come and talk to the students about your experience in working for the bank. I said, sure. And little did I know, even before having the opportunity, I began to talk to her even more. And she said, we have a position coming available at the college. We would love for you to just come and really just inspire the students to share your story, to be an instructor, to teach them skills that they need to be successful in their career. And so I said, well, thank you so much for thinking of me. And I applied to the position. At the same time, the bank needed someone to be able to step up and teach those skills as well. They would also receive a certification and be able to get a job once they successfully completed the course. And so that love, that inspiration grew from there. I relocated and later became a career services director. And let me tell you, ever since then, it's just, how can I use this experience to help someone else? Because it always hasn't been that way. I literally remember having that love and desire at BB and, at the bank while I was working there. while I was working at the bank, I remember having that love and that desire and that passion to get into HR. But literally, someone told me when I asked them, how could I do this? Their reply was, you're asking too many questions.
Oh, wow.
But I refused to let that stop me. I began to quickly surround myself with people who were going to pour into me, mentors, and didn't stop there. I just kept applying. I kept showing up around, surrounding myself with people who were always willing to pour into me as well. And Tony Robbins says it best, success leaves clues, but you must take action. There are people willing to show you how to get there 10 steps ahead of you, but what are you going to do with that information? You can't sit on it. Like, somebody can use what you have in your hands. Somebody can use the information, the resources, the knowledge that you have. And so that inspiration just continued to grow.
Wow. It's kind. You see, it's amazing how when we actually have passion for something and we can just let that passion come out and then don't let anyone stop us on the way. Because if you actually listen to these people that was telling you, you ask too many questions, why don't you just go sit there and quiet and do your job and just don't ask any questions? And if you didn't ask all the questions, then you wouldn't be where you are today. Because for me, I believe that everything that's happened in our life guide us to be where we're supposed to be. So it's great that you ask questions. It's great that you talking with that person who become your mentor and then present you to other things that can actually help you. It's just amazing. I love listening to a woman that's actually stories, that's actually do all these great things and have those amazing stories to share with the world because other women need to hear them. Tell us something about your education and in passion.
Absolutely. So I talked about, my love for communication. That followed up, I had a master's in business administration. And one thing I love, and you talked about it a little bit when you were talking about how you're connecting with people, and I connected with my mentor. And a lot of people don't realize I believe in investing in you, investing in yourself consistently. And when you're investing in yourself, you're not just investing, you think about that person, but you're also investing in their network, the people that they're going to introduce you to now because they know, hey, oh, okay, yeah. They make the recommendation and you meet so many more amazing people. So, and the biggest thing, the biggest takeaway that I've learned is never underestimate who could be watching you. You never know who's watching. You never know the opportunities that are going to present themselves. And a lot of times you see the ones that are in front of you, like investing, but there are a lot of hidden resources too that don't automatically present themselves. I've had several people who reached out to me on LinkedIn. And I always talk about LinkedIn because, and I'm so grateful for being a career services director because that's what really opened up my eyes working in IT. We helped our students. And one of the things I love is that our students were from any industry. And we were teaching them the skills that they needed to be successful in IT. So you were taking someone who was beginning their career now to be able to go out there. And then we would also help students who were advanced and be able to market themselves, to be able to highlight the skills that they have. But look at LinkedIn. And we talked about LinkedIn and how to use it for networking and how many opportunities have became available through networking on LinkedIn. A lot of times, growing up, you would hear, or I know I would hear, don't always tell people, what you're doing or doing this or doing that. But sometimes you'd be surprised at who will come to help you, who will come to your aid to definitely help you get there so much quicker.
Exactly. And I think the last thing you're saying, if you want to adding into it as well, is that sharing doesn't mean it's the I think the one thing, let's start from the beginning. I think the one thing with women is like we feel like if we share, someone's gonna steal it and we're not gonna be able to get ahead, right? And don't get me wrong, that might happen. But for me, I believe that you can't ever take my ideas or the things that I want to do with my life for you to turn it to what you taking the same thing I was doing. You might take it and turn it to yours, but it's not mine. It will never be the same. It's completely two different things. And I think that going out there and linking and networking and share your ideas and connect with people because they might also help you with your idea because there's great people out there. They're not looking to steal, they are looking to help. So I agree with you on that. After being successful academically, what inspired you to launch Richey Workforce Development?
Absolutely. So for me, I knew already that I wanted to be able to have a business, not just a business, but for me, it's my purpose. It's what I do, what I love to do, what my passion is. And so when the pandemic happened for me, I knew it was time because I refused to be a sitting resource with over 40 million people who had lost their job during the pandemic. And, the news was highlighting this and they were showing this information. And I knew that still there are over 200 million employers. There is one that is willing to give you the opportunity that you deserve. But it's how you present yourself, how you brand yourself to get those opportunities. And not just that, but a lot of career transitioners transitioning into other careers. How do you do that successfully? And my experience early on gave me that opportunity. So just knowing that I refuse to be a sitting resource, knowing that I have information to be able to help someone else while they're trying to get clear on a strategy to help them get just that one position. You are unique. You have something to offer the employer. And I call myself the candidate advocate because you have to make sure that that position is going to be a good fit for you, just like the employer is making sure it's going to be a good fit for them as well. It has to work for you. What are the things that you're willing to make sure is it where you need to be to grow professionally? What does that look like? What do you desire? And then creating a roadmap to help you get there. And so I knew that would allow me the ability to be able to just inspire so many other people who were feeling stuck in their career, because I know what it's like to feel stuck in your career and desire more, but not be sure how to get there. And through my career, it has taught me how to get there successfully. I remember the nights early on in my career, like trying to figure out, having an interview the next day, staying up all night, trying to cram all that information in. Oh my goodness, that's a lot. And so growing in my career, having the experiences that I've had working with hiring managers, and knowing that you can prepare now so that when the opportunity presents itself, you will be ready. And then a lot of positions are not even posted, but that's why networking is so powerful to be able to get, ahead of your competition. Because you think about it now, one position could be open, but there are thousands applying for the same position. So what's gonna set you apart? And allowing people, especially women who feel unfulfilled in their careers, to be able to identify that and move forward in their career while redefining career success for themselves. Like, what does it look like for you? What do you desire to do? And so being able to do those things, and especially during the pandemic, is when Richey Workforce Development started. And since then, I've just been able to share that passion with so many people, help them get unstuck and overcome imposter syndrome, knowing that you are enough. You got this. You can do the things that you truly desire to do. And so having an action plan, taking action, because a lot of times we get the information, but we do nothing with it. But you have to hold yourself accountable, surround yourself with greatness, with people who are going to be willing to help you and encourage you and empower you just to do more and never stop investing in yourself.
I totally agree. And then I think a great example will be when the person who become your mentor later on, when she proposed that to you, if you're not prepared for it, you wouldn't be able to actually apply for that position and get that position either. So that's because you prepare yourself forward, and you're not just sitting there like, oh, when something happened, I'll do something about it. Who knows? So let's dive in a little bit into Richey Workforce Development. So how exactly does it work? Like if someone looking, for example, if I'm looking for a job, and how can you help me? If I'm looking for a job, or I need my resume updated, how can you actually guide me and help me with that?
Absolutely. So I love how you said it, guide you and help you. So that's what I do, is pretty much hold your hand through the process. I talk about this because having a career strategy is so important. It's easy to say, I'm gonna apply for 10 jobs today, 10 jobs tomorrow. I'll apply for more positions next week, but not be consistent. Wonder why you're not getting replies, right? But when you get laser focused and really target that resume, provide those details as to what you're looking for. When you get clear, that's when you can start seeing results. And so the way that I do that is by setting up a strategy call. During the strategy call, during that session, we lay out just that roadmap of what you're looking for, what you desire. Because to me, it's redefining career success. Because what is that to you? Like, what do you desire to do? It may not just be six figures, because some positions it may require a lot of overtime. Is that something you're willing to do? It may require you to commute an hour and a half. When I talk about the position as a career services director, I commuted an hour and a half to get to work each day, to get there, and then commuting back. So what does that look like for you? What do you desire to do? And then you need to be off a certain time. So we lay out that roadmap of what you're looking to do. We get clear on your resume. We update that to make sure we're talking. We call it jargon, the company language. Make sure that it talks about, the things that the industry is talking about, that company that you're looking for is talking about. And I like to outline the values, the things that you desire. Because if you're looking for someone, let's just say empathetic, you're looking for long term to be able to grow with them, then you need to highlight what that looks like for you. And you have to prepare your mindset. So we went through the mindset, because mindset is key. Regardless of how many times I tell you you can have that position, if you don't believe it, you're never going to believe that you can have that position. But confidence is key. And so I have a career clarity guide with an activator guide where we activate those gifts. We take inventory of the gift, of the skills you already have, because a lot of skills are already overlooked. We overlook the soft skills. We overlook the years of experience that we have. I talked about working at an IT school. I love helping industries where they were coming from an industry they didn't know nothing about. And so, but a lot of times they would leave off the skills that they already had. They would leave off the knowledge they already had. And I'm like, no, you can use this experience. And I literally had a conversation not too long ago with the hiring manager. And they were telling me, they said, I saved my interviews to the end. We're going to do 3 rounds of interviews. But, during the beginning, they gave me the interview panel, the people who will be interviewing with them. They said, because at the end, by the time they get to me, it's really just, that conversation. I want to make sure that you have the skills you say you have. You can list all of these things on a resume, but if you don't show up confidently, you don't show up as the person that you present on the resume, they're looking like, who is this person? She's a go-getter. She's outgoing. That conversation, you can really change the conversation of the interview to be able to highlight those skills you have. Maybe you feel nervous, but when you're confident on who you are, when you get laser focused, it's going to help you. You have to have a plan than just, I call it blindside, like just applying to all of these positions, all of these things. A lot of times, resumes have not been revisited since you graduated high school. It's time to get rid of that. You have to update it to the skills that you have now. And a lot of people leave off important information. They move, they relocate. They don't put current phone numbers. Like, update that information, because that recruiter, we don't have time to go through and try to find out where you are now. Keep it up to date, because it's going to grow with you as you grow, so that when you get there, you show up confidently. And I hold your hand. I walk you through that process, pretty much guide you through it to show you what it looks like. I also do like role playing, really preparing you for that scripting, because it's so important to talk about what you desire to do and to be able to highlight your skills, to be able to highlight what that organization is, looking for, but be able to identify it and make it so that they can see that you are the person for the position. Those are ways that I'm able to help, and I love, just to be able to highlight those skills as well.
I love it, because looking for a job for me, I feel like looking for a job is like a full-time job. So you're looking for a job, yes, but you're only working looking for a job. So you can't really do anything else. And I think that, do you think that people need more than one resume depending on the job they are applying for?
Absolutely. And you need to gear it towards the job that you're applying for. So don't apply for Google or, and you're applying for NASA, just saying some companies or organizations, but it's not specific to them. LinkedIn is a great tool. LinkedIn provides it's a networking resource, and it provides a lot of tips about the organization. Look and see what Google did last. Look and see what that organization did last. There are ways to implement these things on your resume. There are keywords, of course, which is what we talk about to make sure you're including the keywords. But even outside of keywords, the biggest thing that I found is networking. Because as hiring managers and as recruiters, when you're out there, a lot of times we talk about how important it is to have those keywords, but networking is even more important because a lot of times they're looking for, hey, I don't have time to keep this position open long. Like I need someone, fast that's going to be able to fit the job description and be able to bring the skills and qualifications that.
So if you have a resume that can meet that type of job, it's easier to apply at the same time, right?
Absolutely.
Better than
Absolutely. You're ready.
better than you when you see the job. That's when you're trying to, like, okay, I need to take this out, put this in, and then you kind of make mistakes, and then you end up just messed up your own self and not getting the job.
Right, and miss opportunities because I remember when I worked in IT, still working IT, but when I worked at the college as a career services director, a lot of the organizations that we partner with to get students employed with, we literally had to tell them, make sure your information is up to date. We had a student miss an opportunity because they did not update their information. And that employee was not going to wait. They needed someone within 24 hours. You don't want to be up all night trying to figure it out. Then you have to show up the next day for an interview. You're exhausted when you could have already had the information and been ready to go. And then it gets, even more in depth than that, even after the interview. Always, if you can provide that thank you note, let them know thank you for your time. And then not just stopping there, but, feedback. That is not the time to go off on the hinges if you don't get the position because you never know down the line. And then another thing I see is that some people apply for, let's just say you're applying at Google and you apply for like 50 positions. Remember, as recruiters, as hiring managers, we share information, but as recruiters, we can see every position you apply for. So make sure that position is in line with what you really desire to do because some positions have a 6-month requirement where you will not be able to apply again within 6 months. If that opportunity was not the right one for you, you'd have to wait to apply again.
Wow, that's something I didn't know about. Interesting. So how's your experience help you achieving what you have so far?
Say that again now.
How's your experience? All the experience you have over the years, working from with the bank, school, and in any other places you have worked. How all of them put together help you achieve what you have right now?
Wow. All of them put together have really just increased my desire to help other people who were at and are still at the place where I was, like feeling stuck, feeling overwhelmed in your career, not knowing, having a clear strategy. I know what it's like to be in a toxic work environment, but being clear on your next steps. And even in that, I never spoke negatively about the employer. I never said anything negatively because you never know. A lot of times, and a lot of clients now coming from that organization because you have to just keep showing up. You have to be ready for the opportunity as it presents itself. You have to be in a place where, first of all, not doing it alone. I believe the pandemic showed us like a lot of people have been isolated long enough. You have to know that there is help out there for you, but you have to surround yourself with people who are going to help you. I talk about career resilience, and it's a lifelong skill that gives you strength to adapt to challenges throughout your professional journey. Again, adapt to challenges because challenges will occur. Challenges will happen. And I heard someone ask a question like this. They said, they asked you growing up, what do you want to be? But it should be, who do you want to become? Because if you identify who you want to become, you can adapt to the challenges that are going to present themselves. Because there are going to be challenges. There are going to be roadblocks sometimes, but it's how you overcome it. I'll never forget. I was doing an internship in my career early on. And, I applied to do the internship. And I interviewed with the district manager and my manager at the time. And I began to tell them about the ideas. They wanted to know how it would allow the company to grow. And the feedback at the end was, Jessica, your ideas are too big for us. It's too big for our organization. I could have allowed fear to stop me. I could have allowed disappointment to stop me, not getting that internship to stop me, not knowing that it was only helping me for where I was going, because there are a lot of people now who feel stuck. There are a lot of people now who feel overwhelmed, but just know, don't give up. Keep showing up. Use what you have now. A lot of times we're like, what's next? What's next? What can I do next? Make sure that mindset is key. So make sure that you're in a good place where if it's encouragement. You need to hear encouragement. Put on encouragement. Listen to that encouragement. If it's encouragement as far as podcasts, whatever it is that's going to get you into a space where you're like, okay, you know what? Regardless of what's going on, I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to apply again. But when you have that clear strategy, that's what's going to help you get to that next place that you desire to get to. But know that you don't have to be stuck. You don't have to do it alone. There are resources and there are people out here willing to give you the opportunity you deserve.
Absolutely. I totally agree with you in that. And don't ever give up no matter what, because you're gonna get positive. You're also gonna get a lot of negative, and the negative are meant to make you stronger, not to pull you down, but to make you stronger. For me, I look at it every time someone hit me with something. I say, well, that's all you got. Come on, you have to be able to do better than that. That's not gonna do anything to me. Come on, keep bringing more. Come on. So I guess what you're saying is absolutely right. Take the negative, make yourself stronger, and then just stand up. And if you need to be an elephant so that you can make it big when your feet down, it's you can feel everything is just shaking, then just do that. Just create your own powerful you, and then you'll be just fine. I think that's what I hear you saying. And you are a certified resume writer, right? What is the secret behind writing an appealing resume?
That's a good question. So literally, when you talk about the secret to creating a powerful resume, I give away that secret because the biggest secret that you have to understand, and I literally did a whole course on this, but it is you. You are the secret. You have the skills. You have the information you need, but it's on the inside of you. And when I say it's you, I mean, let's talk about your life experiences. Let's talk about the things that you've been through that can relate to the place that you're trying to get to. But you can't get there until you get clear and get unstuck. And the way we do that is we begin to work on your mindset. We begin to talk on your purpose, knowing that it's bigger than a career. It's bigger than just a job. It's bigger than just a position. You have to do what you love doing. You deserve to wake up and do a job that you love doing. So many people get up, especially on Mondays, you think about it, and they're doing work at the beginning. They dread it the whole weekend because they're going in to do work that they regret doing. It's like, oh my goodness, here comes Monday. Gotta hit the snooze button. Now I'm late for work. Didn't want to be there to begin with. But keep showing up. Even when you're at a place that you don't desire to be at, create an exit plan. A strategy plan to help you get to where you desire to be. I watched one of my favorite shows this weekend, and it's Undercover Boss. And there was a lady on there. She was talking about how she went through just an amazing experience. It's always the story for me on that show. I love hearing people's stories of why they do what they do and how the CEO goes behind the scenes pretty much of the organization to figure out what needs to be fixed, which is so important. That's why I really love the show. Like figuring out how can we make our organization better. And so on the show, when they were talking to the woman, she said, I literally wake up and she was suffering from an illness. She said, but I get to wake up and I get to do work I love, work I enjoy every day. And that stuck with me because there's so many people that are not doing what they love, not doing what they enjoy doing. And so if that's you, create an exit strategy to get to where you need to be. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay in that place doing it by yourself and not seeing results. You can get the thing and have the things that you desire to do, but you got to put in the work. It requires work. It requires action. It requires consistency. It requires thinking outside the box to get the job done. What can you do differently that's going to put you ahead of the competition? And then not walking in comparison, but knowing that there is something on the inside of you. There are gifts, there are resources that you have that someone is just waiting on you. We're waiting on you to apply. Don't let the imposter syndrome get you down. Not thinking that looks like, okay, 1 minute, you know what, I'm going to apply for that position. And then the next minute, you done talked yourself right out of it. When the person who got the position had half the skills and the qualifications you have. So you really just got to put yourself out there. And don't be scared of no. Don't be scared when you don't get the job, when you don't get the position. Keep showing up, keep interviewing. And guess what? That interview is only preparing you for the next interview. That yes, there's a yes, but you got to keep showing up to get it. Stay persistent. and don't be, scared of rejection. Don't be scared of the no. Just keep going.
Absolutely, I agree with you on that. If I understand correctly, pretty much the secret behind writing an appealing resume is you yourself. And also, one thing that you said about rejection is that would you say that keep getting rejected from jobs is even if you already got the interview, went through the interview, then you get rejected? Would you say that the interview was more like a practice for you so you can be better for the next one?
Absolutely. And you keep practicing. And I always say, a lot of times, I've seen students, even when I was working, as a career services director, when I was working and I had the opportunity in the beginning of my career, working at the bank and working at the school, who literally failed courses because they didn't want to stand in the front of the room. They didn't want to interview. And I was just that person, hey, Colin, like, don't give up. Like, come on back. Come on back. Let's practice this thing. And sometimes we had to practice on the phone first to build the confidence. But even when you think about a phone interview, those start over the phone. You're smiling. They act like you're talking to them on the phone. It starts there. I'll never forget, even when I talk about the position as a career services director, I literally was home from, my son was home from school. He was sick. And I literally was laying down with him. And I got this call, y'all. I jumped up and I perked up. And he literally had just laid down and he was asleep, but I was ready. I literally just invested in myself. I had invested in a course that allowed me to get clear. And I was so ready to use this information I learned. Literally, the instructor of the program had told me what to do. They said, I want you to literally call this particular employer this day, and this is what I want you to say. And I literally did not get to do it on that date because I got that call that day and I was ready and they offered me that position and it changed my career. And so that's what I love to do, change others as well, help them get unstuck. Because yes, it helps you, even in the midst of that no, even in the midst of that rejection. But practice makes perfect. Like keep showing up and give it your all. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jessica. Another question I have for you: would you say that if someone is looking for to build a career, or would you say that it's important for them to have a career strategist?
Oh yes. It is. And I say that from experience. Like I talk about how I talked about earlier what it was like staying up late at night. Like it makes you think about when you're in school, you're studying for that test, and it's like by a certain time, you're like, if I don't got it by now, it's just not gonna happen. Like you're trying to cram all this in at the last minute. Like, what are you doing to yourself? We talk about self-care. Like, what are you doing to yourself waiting at the last minute trying to make this happen? Let's get realistic on your goals. That's what that career strategist is going to help you do. Because you have to make sure that you know what you desire to do so that you can create a clear action plan, a clear strategy to help you get there. And, everybody talks about career success. And even when you define it, it's talked about as having a reasonable level of financial stability while doing work you enjoy. But does that look like to you? Do you enjoy the work that you do? Like, what is it that you desire to do? Let's get clear on that and create a strategy, create a roadmap, because that's what allows you to do more in less time. Now we have a strategy to apply for those positions, but we're also networking and we're finding other positions that haven't even been posted yet. Because when you know what your gifts are, when you know what it is you love to do, what you're passionate about, then guess what? You can make the employer realize, hey, you don't even have this position, but they'll create a position for you. You know what? We didn't even have the budget this month, but I went back and we're going to bring you on. So you never know. You just have to be prepared and make sure that you're doing the work, now. It may seem like a lot when you're making sure that resume fits what that employer is looking for, but do the work so that you can see the results and making sure you're partnering with someone who's experienced, who knows what they're doing, who knows what they're talking about, who are either they've done it themselves. Like make sure that you do your research and it can help you in the long term in your career as well.
Listen to you talking, I feel like for the past 32 minutes we have been talking. I learned three things from you when it comes to building your career. One of them is having a career strategist, and the second one is having a networking, go out there and networking. And then the third one is that be prepared. Like, be ready when opportunity to come knock on your door. Be ready to say, yes, I'm available. Yes, let's do it. Am I right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. You are correct.
Thank you, Jessica. You are also a motivational speaker. What technique do you adopt to motivate people?
Wow. You know what? It's literally the same thing with what you were talking about. Being prepared. It's knowing that you don't, I think the biggest thing is that you don't have to do it alone. I talked about in the beginning how, you know, yes, 40 million people lost their jobs during the pandemic, but what we don't hear is that part about the 200 million employers. Look at the other side of that. Look at the opportunities that lie ahead. So it's just for me that encouragement, that resilience to know that if you keep showing up, you can have results. If there's someone else that's done it, and when we're talking about how success leaves clues, guess what? You can do it too. It's just how you market the skills that you already have. And so those are things that I'm able to talk to audiences about, the power that you already have on the inside of you, but it's how you present it, how you market yourself, personal branding, making sure when we're talking about career strategy, making sure that you can do more in less time by having a strategy in place, because it can be overwhelming. Like we were talking about earlier, applying for multiple positions, not seeing results, but literally surrounding yourself with greatness so that you can see the results you desire is what I talk about. And I've adapted because that's what's changed my life.
Absolutely. You use your experience, well, not just your experience, but also your education. You take the education and the experience, you put them together, and you pretty much you adapt that to motivate people to go out there and do the best that you can be, the best that you can be, so that you can be successful in your career. I love it. You know, I know that you have a new event taking place in April. Can you tell us about it?
Absolutely. So I'm so excited about the event taking place in April. It literally reminds me of everything we've been talking about today, which really is the other thing that really ties it all together. And that's having faith over fear. And that's the title of the event. The conference is for purpose driven individuals who want more out of life. It's so easy to get caught up in the 9 to 5 grind and really just still feel unfulfilled. And so this 2-day event is focused on overcoming the fear, professional growth, community building, and collaboration. And we are having some powerful speakers to share strategies, ideas, and practical action steps to help you create a powerful future. And I'm so excited because we're also celebrating the 1 year podcast anniversary. And I am just so excited about this journey and being able to share it with others. And so that Friday, we have Eric Richey, who's going to be talking about what it takes to activate your faith. We talked about earlier how you say, I can have this and I can have that, but do you really believe it? What are your action steps to get there? So we're going to be talking about that on that Friday. And then that Saturday, I'm so excited to have a power-packed lineup. Not only will you have myself, I'm going to be talking about career clarity and really just what you need to do to get the position you desire and purpose, and how it's so much bigger than just a position. And then I'm so excited. Mary Fernandez is going to be talking about mindset. Oh my goodness, because as we've been talking, mindset is key. I'm excited to have Margot Levesque. She's going to be talking about the power of your why and the backup of your why. And then Altavis Pelza, unmuting your voice, because you are unique and your voice has power. And Dr. Keisha Tate is going to be talking about get the bag and keep the balance. And we're also going to have Somas. And oh my goodness, I'm honored to have Kalandra McDowell and Kim Person. She's a 2-time Stella Award nominee. And this conference is going to allow you to do what everything we've talked about, which is not only taking notes, but taking action. You have to take action. And so this conference is going to allow you to do just that. So I'm excited about it. And I welcome you to enjoy and really just take part of this conference and allow it to transform your life. Because the biggest thing, like I said, is not just seeing what's next, but implementing. What are you implementing? Dream bigger and know that you can have the things you desire.
Absolutely. When is that event taking place in April?
Yes, so it is Friday, April the 29th, and Saturday, April the 30th. And
And
that Friday, we will be starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then that Saturday, we're going to be kicking it off at 12 noon Eastern
is it
Standard
gonna be
Time.
in person or online?
It is virtual. It is a virtual event. It's going to be live virtual. Meet us there.
So
Absolutely.
pretty much anyone you are, if you are in need of overcoming the fear, because I know personally when I at 16 when I started applying for a job, I would not lie to you. In a job interview over the phone, I almost peeing myself. So I will not lie. I was that scared, and I was not even in person. I was on the phone, and I was shaking. And I remember when I put that phone down, I just run straight to the bathroom. I was like, oh my goodness, I mess it up, I mess it up. So I feel like everything you just said about the conference is pretty much will help someone overcoming that fear. If you can understand your why, like you said, Margot Lovett will talk about your why. If you can understand your why and be able to put the mindset that you're going to learn from Mary, so that you will be confident to show up in a job interview and be confident and get that job yourself. As a female founder, what is the message you have for other women starting out?
That is a good question. So it would be to keep showing up. Again, consistency is key. To really just take the next steps. A lot of times we look at, we think about what's next, and we have the whole puzzle, like we're trying to put all the pieces together, but just take that next step, get clear on that, and just that next step can help someone. And so regardless of what it is, like doing it scared, do it again, like keep showing up. You may not feel like you have all the skills or everything it is that you need at first, but surround yourself with people who are going to help you, who are going to push you, encourage you, keep investing in yourself, keep learning, and know that if you keep showing up, the right opportunities will present themselves.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you on that. Who and what is your inspiration?
I think about my family. My family is definitely my inspiration. That's what motivates me and keep me going, because I'll never forget, even starting out with my business. When I first started, I did not have the podcast as a part of my business. And I literally would be on and I'd be talking, and my son walked in one day, and he's young, and he's like, Bonnie, is your camera on? Like, sometimes I record live episodes. He said, no, you need to have your camera on. They need to see you. You need to give it all you got when you show up. And he was editing it. He made me do a video, and he critiqued my video. Let me tell you, you want feedback, they would give you honest, rare feedback. And so I took that feedback, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to keep showing up. And literally, just like today, having this opportunity, when I let him know, he's like, oh, I'm proud of you. And it motivates him because he sees himself. Literally, he had a project at school and they had to present, and he was like, you know what, I'm not nervous, I got this. And just seeing him give it his all, and so that motivates me to see him give it his all, to see my husband who just continues to show up, who continues to encourage. Like, they motivate me so much. And I'm just so grateful and inspired by them, and so it allows me to keep showing up and do what I love even the more.
Oh, it's not as female founder, I think we suffer a lot because we do not have the support at home, and meeting other women that have that support is just so good. I'm so grateful to see it as well, because we don't have it. A lot of us do not have it. We struggle a lot. The fact that a husband don't support us, our kids really don't care what we are doing. So when we have that support, is just so awesome. And all I can say is that hold on to it. Don't let it go, because not everyone actually have that opportunity to have that support at home. So I'm grateful to just hear that from you, and I hope that also help other women to know that there is family out there that will support you. Sometimes it's just you need to be open to them, but also accept the feedback they are giving to you, even if you feel like it's not the best. What are your plans ahead? What are your plans for the future actually?
Yeah, so my plans for the future is to just help more women who feel unfulfilled in their careers get unstuck. to create those exit strategies I was talking about, because that was the time I'll never forget. My favorite holiday is Christmas. And for me, it was Christmas when I experienced the most, being in a toxic work environment and being told that, things are not working out well here. And they really could not tell me why. It was just another manager who had told them this, who had left the organization. And then the other person who had took their position, who had got demoted. And so they were just like, I don't know what it is. It's just not working out because of what somebody else said. And me knowing HR, I went to HR, I expressed how I felt. So I have a strong love and desire to see women create the action plan and then be able to negotiate fearlessly. Because a lot of times when we're talking about fearless salary negotiation, a lot of people say, you know what? Oh, I'll negotiate just fine. But let me tell you, even as a technical recruiter, I think about, most of the time, most people have like 25 recs they're trying to fill. So for me, I literally have almost 60 recs I'm trying to fill right now, 60 positions that are open. And out of those positions, let me tell you, when I think about salary and negotiation, there have been, oh my goodness, so many positions I've filled since I've been at the organization. But when I think about negotiating salary, I've only had one female who negotiated their salary. And I've seen people negotiate, and these are six figures. These are, I don't care what the amount is, you negotiate. They weren't scared of a no. Like that same thing about negotiation is the same way about rejection, that feedback. I literally had a candidate who was a male who recently got the position. They said, hey, I know it's harder to get in that position. Once I get there to get the raise I want. They even tried to negotiate the job title itself. They were not scared to negotiate, and they did it. And they ended up getting like a $20K sign-on bonus on top of the $10K additional amount that they negotiated. And the males consistently show up, consistently negotiate their salary. And another thing I see is that females have gaps in their resumes and they don't know how to explain those gaps. So I want to work with them to really just be able to highlight those skills that they have and know that there are organizations out there who are willing to give you the opportunity you deserve. They literally have programs, they have funding to give you that, but it's how you market yourself and show up in confidence. Don't let that be one place you're lacking. When you show up, be ready to negotiate fearlessly, and that's where that strategy comes into play. So being clear about what you want, what you desire. So when you get to that salary negotiation, it is like, oh my goodness, I'm ready. I just got it. Got the position and the salary you wanted as well. I heard someone say you rest more, or you're more well rested when you're getting paid. And it's like you're doing, I know it's nice, I wouldn't say necessarily less, but you're doing what you love to do. So it's just flowing, from a place where you're doing what you love to do and you're not having to work as hard trying to get everything and make everything happen, where you're flowing in your purpose, you're flowing in your gift. And so my goal and desire is to see more women do that and excel in their careers as well and get unstuck, get clarity, get clear, and get the position they desire. Yes.
Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Jessica. You're absolutely right. We as women, we do not like to negotiate, even when we are better. Our education is higher, our experience is way to the top. But for some reason, they say $10, we say thank you, and we take
Yeah.
it. And having someone like you that's understand that, hey girl, you deserve way more than that. Your experience is higher than that. So that's when you can ask for more money. And then guess what? If you ask, they probably will give it to you because they know you're worth it. So I appreciate you taking the time being with us today and then giving us all the great tips. I learned a lot of things from you. So I wish I knew you when I was 16 years old because I wouldn't have to pee in my pants in my first interview. So I'm grateful that you are out there helping not just women, but also everyone else that's in need of a career strategist that can help them be strong and then learn the skills that they need to get the proper job that they deserve. And I hope you continue doing that, and I look forward to continue supporting you as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for the opportunity and being able to share my story and what I love to do as well. I am so grateful. Thank you.
What a great conversation with Jessica. Always great to have someone that can guide us in life. That's why it is important to have a mentor or a coach. Don't try to do it alone. Get help. Whether in business, trying to build your career, or looking for your dream job, remember to get help from a mentor or a coach. Thank you, Jessica, for taking the time to be here with us. And thank you for listening to this week's episode. Let me know your thoughts about this episode and why do you think personal branding is important when applying for a job. To learn more about Jessica and Richey Workforce Development, visit www.richeyworkforceinspires.com. Thank you for listening to Female Founders Podcast. That's it for this week's episode. Be sure to follow us on your favorite podcast app or connect with us on womel.com so that you don't miss our next episode. See you next time. Bye for now.